¿Quién sabe? Who knows?
Yeah.
Uh, el verano llega. Summer is coming, and there are folks already, getting out of Dodge.
Getting out.
I can't say I blame them. Uh,
Well, it's
Yeah.
a holiday week, isn't it?
yeah. Ok. Buenos días y bienvenidos, bienvenidas. Aquí viene Elisa, bien. Es la última clase de la primavera. This is the last class of spring session. That Memorial Day holiday is next weekend, next Monday. So
Yes.
they're
Cool.
not having any classes because people will be on the road. There will be a lot of people on the road. Um,
Mhm.
ok, magnífico. Voy a tomar sus preguntas. I will take your questions on the video. We're going to open with that.
Hmm.
And then we're going to get into these verb combos that I sent you the file about.
Mhm.
We'll talk about llevar, and we'll hopefully have lots of good examples from you. And then, boy, I kid you not, an hour before class started, a video dropped on one of the verbs in that file that I gave you, which is good enough. If we have time, we'll tag it on to the end. If we have time. And if we don't, I'll send you the link for it. It is about the verb
Okay.
seguir, and it is a great, 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 not complicated explanation, but a great, great clarification of how that verb seguir is used and why it's so important to get comfortable with it because of how common it is and the little nuances of what it means, but in very, very simple terms. So I hope we have time for that during class, but if not, I'll send you the link for it. Okay. Primero, vamos a empezar con el video de escucha, our listening video. Vamos a ver, sí, la chica que se llama Andrea, sí, ella tiene como un puñado, a fistful, un puñado de recibos. She's got a fistful of receipts, recibos. Y fue buen video para escuchar números, para información en general. Pero saber si hay alguna pregunta de vocabulario en ese video o de alguna frase. Any question on any sentence she used or any vocabulary she used?
Well,
Or
I have a question, but it's not exactly from the video, but it's on that topic. So if you could, what would be, and I'll take a guess after I ask this question, but actually, so two questions. Would you use the word recibo for a bill, like getting a check in a restaurant? And how would you ask that? How would you ask for
bill.
that?
Okay.
Like, what?
Cuenta.
Qué buena pregunta.
Pues,
What a good question, because actually there are some different words that are used for different kinds of bills. Anything that's printed that tells you what you owe, right? But which little word is used depends. Well, okay, so en un restaurante aquí en Estados Unidos decimos the check. And clearly it is not a check you write out.
Right.
Okay, it's not really, that word, oh, the check, sir, the check, please, is not super logical when you think of writing a check. I mean, it's not totally out in left field, but it's not, well, I guess it is something you write on if you are paying by debit or credit card, but um, en el restaurante, the only term you'll hear, la, la única palabra, el único término en un restaurante es la cuenta, la
A
cuenta.
cuenta.
Eso es, and that's it. Always la cuenta, always la cuenta. And la cuenta check in a restaurant is sometimes not even verbally said la cuenta. It's this with your hand.
Right.
En el aire, in the air, you know. If it is a noisy restaurant, as it could be if you're at peak eating time, and you know you cannot scream out to the waiter. You know, if you catch the waiter or waitress's eye and you do this in the air, they absolutely know you mean la cuenta, right? But, you know, la cuenta, por favor. La cuenta, porfa. La cuenta, porfa. The bill, please. But a bill that you pay, like your electric bill, yeah, your water bill, your internet bill, your cell phone bill, stuff like that, bills like that that come to you are not la cuenta, they are la factura. Factura. Like factory without an O, but a U instead of where the O would be. Factura. Factura. Tengo que pagar las facturas. I have to pay the bills. People know you mean things like electricidad, el agua, sí, el internet, todo eso, all that stuff. So, las facturas. Recibo is just that piece of paper you have a receipt, recibo. So, recibo refers to the paper you have that proves that you paid for that item and what the amount is.
Okay.
Yeah. In case you have to return it. Por si
So
acaso.
so you're paying la factura, but you're looking at el recibo.
El recibo. Eso sí. Yeah, sí. Ay, sí. Qué buen punto. What a good point that is, because that el recibo just tells you what you purchased, where, what method you used to pay, what the amount is. But el recibo isn't like you don't send el recibo back to the company to make the payment. Let's say you put it on a card. Yeah. Nobody will ever talk about tengo que pagar el recibo. Recibo is just receipt. And just as we don't pay the receipt, but we pay the bill, yeah, same thing. So they use la factura for any kind of bill you get in the mail. Or, you know, nowadays when you make a lot of payments online, maybe you get
Online.
la factura en línea online. Eso es. Okay, qué buena pregunta. What a good question. That goes to the term we use to talk about stuff we owe. Yeah. I hope I answered that to your satisfaction.
You definitely did, but it's I guess it feels a little complicated that that you're paying one word, you're describing making the payment as one word, but you're looking at a different word. But okay.
Yeah. And you know, and sometimes you'll hear people throw out the word el pago, pago. Like the yo form of pagar, pago. You know, the payment, the payment. Um, You might hear that too, but when somebody sits down to pay a bill, it's always la factura, or they talk about the many things they owe monthly. It's always las facturas, always, siempre, sí. Bien. And I guess, you know, in English, yeah, I guess we have differences there too, yeah. Although you might just say payments, but we always say pay the bills. We don't say make the payments. Well, we might say make a payment, but you know what I mean. You know, if you sit down to do your monthly stuff, it's I have to sit down and pay the bills.
Right.
Bien. Ok. Hay otra pregunta de términos en el video, de frases en el video. Any other questions, or were you able to follow what she was talking about pretty easily?
Yeah, she spends a lot of time in Costco.
She spends a lot of time in
Yeah,
class.
it does.
Sam, I think she spends a lot of time drinking wine.
That's true.
Ah, ah, tiene que ahorrar como una mujer joven, as a young woman, ¿sí? Ella tiene que ahorrar, she has to save, tiene que ahorrar mucho dinero, ¿sí? Ah, y eso es, ya. Am, bien. Ok, vale. Nada más, nothing else on that? It's a nice little review because you had some numbers thrown in. It's always good to have something that reviews that so that you're hearing that come through over and over. That's one of those things we can get really rusty on unless you kind of hear variations of repetitions with that. Okay, vale. Adelante. Moving forward, moving forward. Vamos a practicar aquí con los verbos o let's say, con combinaciones de verbos, con frases verbales, verbal phrases, words that we have to hang together. And we got about halfway through this list last week, so we're going to finish them. But we're going to take one step back because the one we had that is always tough for English speakers to use, but really impresses people if you get it right because this is so, so common, is that llevar with time and then an ando or yendo. And the meaning is somebody has been doing something for a period of time. And the period of time can be anything from 10 minutes to 1 hour to 3 days to 5 years. Okay. And it doesn't translate exactly well because llevar, of course, in its basic meaning is to take or carry. And it's like saying you are carrying this amount of time doing something. And that doesn't really grammatically in English make sense, but it makes perfect sense to them. One of our little hitches, can you take that segment of time and put it behind the ando and yendo? Because that is what we do in English. I've been reading this article for 30 minutes, and the 30 minutes goes at the end. Can you, in Spanish, take that chunk of time and flip it to the end? Because your English brain is going to think in that sequence. And the answer is you can, but it's not the most common way you'll hear it. The most common way you'll hear it is with that chunk of time out of your English sequence, but correct and natural in the Spanish sequence after the verb llevar. Okay, so the llevar is conjugated for whoever has been doing something. The ando, yendo, after the period of time tells what they've been doing, reading, waiting, cleaning, studying, working, whatever it is they've been doing. And then the chunk of time tells how long. Okay. So I wanted to come back to this because es poco natural. It is not very natural. It is not a natural sequence for the English speaker. But it is so extremely common in Spanish that it is a great thing for everybody to practice. And I ask everybody to come with at least an example of this. And the example we had in the file was llevo 30 minutos regando las plantas en el jardín. I've been watering the plants in the garden for 30 minutes. And in English, this is why your English brain wants to put that time way at the end. All right. But it really sounds more natural to put that chunk of time, 30 minutos, right after llevar. And llevo tells who's been doing it. Yo, I've been doing it. Okay. Así que quiero sus ejemplos. I would like you to give me whatever examples you worked up with that.
Okay,
Sí,
I'll try.
bien, bueno. Magnifico.
Okay. Llevo 40 minutos cocinando en la cocina.
Llevo 40 minutos.
40.
Llevo 40 minutos. I've been cooking. Llevo 40 minutos cocinando. See, I have been cooking for 40 minutes. Eso, perfecto. Gracias. Otro ejemplo. Otro.
I'll try one.
Sí, bien.
Tomar una clase de guitarra durante una semana.
Okay. Where's your llevar there?
Well, I don't know.
Now, there's
That-
more
that-
than one. There are more. Can you do a workaround? Sure, you can. Yeah, sure, you can. But let's take that and let's put in a llevar. And the llevar is going to talk about who's doing that.
Um,
Am I doing it? Is somebody else doing it?
um, I'm not sure if I put the I before or after the Javar.
Well,
Javar,
let's think about it this way, Andres. Let me interrupt for a quick minute here. Perdón. Who's been doing it? That's all we want to think about right now.
me.
Me. So you
Yeah.
need a yo form for llegar.
Okay. Joe Javar.
Oh, but
Una.
not yo llevar. We got to do something with llevar. And you know what? Throw away the yo. Because llevar, you're going to conjugate it for yo.
Yeah,
Could I say Jovarme?
No. You take llevar, you take off the AR, and you give llevar a yo ending, an o ending.
Jevo.
never.
Sí.
Llevo. Boom. There you go. Okay.
Llevo uno. Oh, could I say Llevo uno semana clase de guitarra?
Llevo una semana. And what's your action?
Clase de guitarra.
Okay. We need that second verb. So Andres, let me put the screen up here to show you so you can kind of think in this pattern. Because sometimes if you haven't got something to look at, it makes it a little bit harder. We'll see if this will help you. So we've got this so far. Llevo, and you've got una semana, a week, right?
Correct.
Okay. Now look at what element we need next. We need something that is a verb, an action. So clase isn't an action. Let's think about what you're doing in that class.
So is that where I could say tomar?
Taking?
Taking.
You could. That works. That works. So let's take tomar and make it into an ando form.
Tomando.
Perfecto. So
Tomano.
now let's string this together. But you'll see, you know what? Gracias. Thank you for being a guinea pig for this, because we need to see how that it's not a natural pattern for English speakers, but because it is so common, you will hear people saying it too. Even if you don't manage to express it with the words coming out of your mouth, somebody is bound to say it to you. So, llevo una semana tomando, and now the rest of your information, taking what?
Una clase de guitarra.
Una clase de guitarra. Una clase de guitarra. Okay, ¿sí? Llevo una semana tomando una clase de guitarra. So you see what elements you needed there. The llevo tells that I'm talking about me doing it, right? And now
Yes.
una semana, my period of time, that one isn't too tough. But now we can't just stick clase in there because clase isn't an action. We need something that tells what you've been doing. Yeah. And we haven't been classing. We've been taking a class, or it could be estudiando en la clase, or it could be practicando en la o practicando guitarra en una clase. Yeah. So what that ando or yendo is can be a lot of different kinds of actions, right? But that ando is not a yo, right? The llevo is the yo part. It tells that I've been the one. And if you want to say, oh, you've been in that class for a week, it won't be you've been in that class. You've been taking that class. See? Llevas, then it changes to llevas. Llevas una semana tomando una clase de guitarra. If I want to say we have all been going together, this is kind of our fun thing to do together, yeah, as a group. And I'm in the group. Then it's got to be in nosotros form. Llevamos una semana tomando la clase de guitarra. Así, like that. Okay. ¿Entiendes? Understand? Okay. Bien. Perfecto. Let me interject with one more example, but I'm going to ask if you, Andres, or somebody else can build this this idea. Okay. The idea I want to get across is we've been driving for an hour. We've been driving for 2 hours. Better. We've been driving for 2 hours.
That was one of my examples.
Okay. Why don't you take that one? Marcos, take it.
Okay. Llevamos 30 minutos manejando al restaurante.
Bien, bien. Okay. So the manejando is the thing we are doing, right? The llevamos tells that we are doing it and we need our little chunk of time. And that just tells how long. Yeah. All right. Bien. Okay. Bueno, let me interject. I'm going to throw out another idea, and I hope I don't steal anybody's thunder, but Marcos, I'll have you do that one. Yeah. See? Okay. Por ejemplo, oh, my husband has been looking for a new computer for 2 months. My husband's been looking for a computer for 2 months. Reasonable. Not finding it. Okay. My husband's been doing it. So what do I do with llevar if I want to talk about mi esposo?
Lleva.
Lleva. Just the ending because it's an AR verb. Yeah. And you'll notice these are all presente. They're present. He's been doing this. Okay. So he's been doing it for 2 months. Okay. That's done. But you know what? He's still in the process. And because he's been doing it for 2 months, the implication is it's still an ongoing search, right? So the lleva, we'll talk about esposo, and the looking for needs to come from buscar, and that's what's going to go into an ando. And so the buscar is going to become
Buscando.
buscando. Lleva buscando, lleva buscando, lleva buscando. Now we need to stick in the middle of those 2 words the time. 2 months.
2 meses.
Perfecto. So let's string it together. Mi esposo
Mi esposo
Dos
lleva
lleva
2 meses
2 meses
2 meses.
buscando
buscando
una computadora.
una computadora nueva, ¿sí? Bien. Una computadora con buen precio, with a good price. Buena suerte. Good luck. Buena suerte con eso. Good luck with that. Bien. Entienden, ¿sí? Let me throw out one more additional. Ba, 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 ba. Bien. Wow, you say, geez, we're going to use beber. Okay,
Okay.
drinking.
Mhm.
Those people, yeah, esa. Ay, oh my God, those people have been drinking over there for 3 hours. What have we been doing for 3 hours that we know that? But hey, never mind. Those people, they've been just drinking for 3 hours straight.
Those people.
Esas personas, those people.
Esas personas.
And now we need llevar to talk
Wow.
about esas personas.
Llevaron.
Llevarán.
Llevan,
Tres
llevan,
horas.
llevan
Tres
Llevan
horas.
3
tres
horas.
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 And now
Bebiendo.
bebiendo,
Bebeando. Yeah.
bebiendo cerveza, bebiendo vino, bebiendo, ¿sí? Bebiendo alcohol, bebiendo licores, liquor, ay, Dios mío, son borrachos. They're drunk people. Okay, bien, bien, sí, eso. Okay, any other examples you've got now that we've done a few? Any other examples that you've got ready or that maybe you've tweaked now that you've done some? Sam.
Okay. Llevo más de 15 minutos esperando a que nuestro mesero, which is the
Okay.
waiter.
Okay. Más de 15 minutos, more than 15 minutes. ¿Sí?
Right.
Bien, bien. Okay. Esperando, waiting. And this is one of those things you often hear it with esperar, because you get in line and the poor guy ahead of you, like to give you a warning. Llevo una hora esperando aquí. I've been waiting here for an hour. He's just
An hour.
telling you. He's just telling you,
True.
warning you off.
Find
Know,
another restaurant.
know what you're in for, please. Sí. Bien. Bueno, entonces, sí. Okay. Otro ejemplo. Any other examples with llevar? Lisa, sí, Lisa.
Yeah. Well, mine is llevo más que 5 minutos español estudiando. Kind of a joke.
Okay. Okay. And let's just put estudiando and then the español after. Estudiando.
Estudiando español.
Español. There you go. Yeah. Okay. Bien. So let me show you one additional thing. And of course, this is a tough thing for English speakers because of that sequence of words. So what we want to hang together there is a sequence that is not the way your English is not the order your English brain is used to thinking in, right? So
Right.
it's important we get this as like a three-piece chain, Who's doing it? That's what we do with llevar, okay? So it'll be either llevo or llevas or lleva for only one person or llevan for a bunch of people or for you guys, ustedes. Llevamos, we. It's going to be one of those. So, llevo 30 minutos. And then in ando, llevo una hora. Llevo, llevo 5 años. Llevo 5 años cultivando vegetales. Llevo 5, you would say this as a point of pride. Llevo 5 años cultivando. Cultivating, we would say raising, see? Vegetales. Growing, right? We have to use cultivar to talk about planting stuff in the ground and watching it grow and helping it grow. Cultivar. Cultivar becomes cultivando. And notice the cultivando, the bebiendo, the manejando. The estudiando is always an ando or yendo. That part, that ando part, never goes into a yo or a tú. These are not conjugations. They are just ando yendo. They're ing. Yeah, yeah. That's just the ing part. And so those you don't have to think about. Do I make it tú? Do I make it no? Do I do an AR, ER, IR? No. It's just ando or yendo, right?
Right.
Bien. You got a bunch of teenagers in your house, and they've been sitting around eating pizza for 2 hours because they are teenage boys and they have bottomless pits. That's Mother Nature. That's what it is. Even girls too, but
Yeah.
my experience with my son and his friends, yeah, those teenage years, the bottomless pit. Uh, uh, oh, those boys, they've been eating pizza for 2 solid hours. Los chicos
Los chicos
llevan
llevan
2 horas.
2 horas.
Uh, I'm gonna make it 2 whole hours. 2 horas enteras comiendo pizza.
You're putting
Okay.
the time before
Okay.
drink what they've been doing. You're putting the time before what they're doing.
Right. Exacto. Okay. So the order is totally disconnected to the kind of word order that we do in English, right? We've got to have our forma of llevar, our period of time, and here's what they're doing. What they're doing is this, ando yendo part. What they're doing is this. Who's doing it is the llevo part, right? But the ando yendo is always standard, and it doesn't matter who's doing it with ando yendo. It's always
I
ando
lost you there for a
or
minute.
yendo. And the ando and yendo is just because some are AR verbs, ando, some are ER verbs, yendo. Bien, ¿sí? Uh, I want to say, por ejemplo, I'm going to use salir to go out. Perdón. And
I lost you
salir,
there for a minute. So
yeah, salir can be used for going out as in the idea of dating. Yeah. And I want to say, my daughter has been dating, Luis. She has been dating Luis for 8 months. She's been dating Luis for 8 months. Mi hija, what do I do with llevar? Mi hija
Lleva,
lleva, now I need the 8 months.
lleva.
1, 2, 3, 4,
8 mes, 8 mes.
8 meses. Mi hija lleva 8 meses. Mi hija lleva 8 meses. Going out with salir has to become
Saliendo.
saliendo con Luis. Mi
Saliendo.
hija
Con Luis.
lleva 8 meses saliendo con Luis. And the implication is, okay, she started back 8 months ago, but it's gone on and on and on. And you know what? It's not over. He hasn't dumped her. She hasn't dumped him. They're still doing that. Yeah, they're still a couple. You're saying they're still a couple. Yeah. You're saying
Yeah.
it can, and the reason lleva is in present is that it continues on in real time now. It has not ended. Yeah. See, entienden? Make sense?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
¿Necesitan más ejemplos o no?
I just had when I said más que, llevo más que 5 minutos. The más
Más
que
de.
goes before the amount of time.
Yeah. And yes, okay. So the amount of time, if you want to say more than 5 minutes,
Mhm.
I know you would think it should be más que, but because we have a number, it's más de.
Okay.
Una cosita, just a little thing. Más de 5 minutos. And I think Sam had an example like that too. Más
Oh,
de, sí, más de 15 minutos, more than 15
Yeah.
minutes.
Más
Ma-
de.
sí,
Más.
sí, más de 40 minutos, more than 40 minutes.
I
Algo
forgot the
así.
rule, but I guess it's because it's time. I mean, I don't know.
The
Forgot the
time can be
rule.
any chunk of time. Okay, but it can't be,
Must,
it can't be
okay.
time
Yeah.
like Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be, so más de 5 minutos, that is fine. That's a chunk of time.
But not must K because it's
Más
that would
de.
be using a
Yeah,
different
not más
rule.
que. I know. You learned that comparisons more than, and that
Mhm.
than word is que.
Mhm.
But when we say more than with a number,
Yes.
it's just a rule they have. Don't think about why, because I can't give you a reason why. Yeah, it just is. It's one of those things we just have to accept it is. When I've got more than with a number, the key there is the 5 minutos that you've got. Más de 5 minutos, more than 5 minutes. Más de una hora,
Más de. Ya
¿sí?
más de.
Más de 15 minutos, more than 15 minutes. ¿Sí? Bien.
Mm,
Big.
Yeah. Más de is just one of those things when it's got a number, it's más de, not que. Uh, that's just a thing. Okay.
In this structure
Mhm.
here,
Thank you.
can you be real vague with the time? Like I was thinking something
Yes.
like
Sí.
mucho horas.
Sí. Sí. Sí, eso sí. Por ejemplo, sí, llevo muchas horas leyendo este libro. I've been reading this book for a lot of hours. Boy, I don't even know how many. Uh, the chunk of time can be vague as long as it's a chunk of time.
mhm,
Llevo mucho tiempo, a lot of time, muchas horas,
Many
muchos
hours.
años, ¿sí? Sí, señor López, por ejemplo, señor López lleva muchos años trabajando en esta oficina. Mr. Lopez has been working here for many years. So the chunk of time can be something not with a number on it. It can just be a lot of, yeah, a lot of time, a lot of hours. It could just be hours and hours. ¿Sí? Llevo horas y horas cocinando para la familia. I spend hours and hours cooking for the family. That's pretty vague. I don't know how, yeah, there's no number attached to that hours, but it's a chunk of time. But the important thing to know is that when we say time, you can't say, you can't have you can't have time expressed as like Friday.
mm,
I've been working for Friday. Yeah. See that's not a period of, I mean, it is, but you know what I'm
mhm,
saying. It's got to be a chunk of time, and it could be vague or it could be very specific, but it can't be a word like Friday, or it can't be 2020, or yeah, it can't
mm.
be that kind of chunk. It's got to be
Minutes, hours,
seconds, minutes, hours,
day.
days, number of days, not a
Mm,
day of the week, but number
Like
of days.
some kind of duration, but not
Some
a
duration,
Yeah.
specific.
exacto.
Yeah.
It's got to
Okay.
be a duration of time, right? Friday is not a duration of time. 2020 is not a duration of time. I know
Mhm,
it is a year, but if you want to say a whole year, say un año or un año entero. Yeah. That kind of thing. ¿Sí? Bien.
Mhm.
Okay. Bueno. This is a real challenging structure, and yet it is so common. So that is why you see, vale la pena is worth the effort to clarify it and just really see a lot of examples. Eso, sí. Pam. Okay. ¿Necesitan más ejemplos? Do you need more examples? Or no?
No.
No? Nada. Okay. Adelante. That is definitely worth it. Okay. We're going to look at a different chunk. Okay. This is the easy one. Fácil. Easy one because it is one that we are more familiar with. It is one we have used before. Estar with an ando or estar with an yendo, to be doing something. But the specific thing is it has to mean that it's going on in real time as we're speaking, okay? And so we still have the ando yendo, but now instead of conjugating llevar, we're just doing estar. And it just means somebody is doing something at this time, okay? At this time. The example we had was estoy mirando un video en español. Estoy mirando. That could have been expressed as estoy viendo also from ver, but either way. Okay? Bien. Unos ejemplos. Some examples from you guys. Andrés, sí.
I think I got this right.
Okay. Now, Andres, never feel funny about that because that
Never.
first one we start out with that packed a punch, and
Yeah.
when we make a mistake, it serves as a great way that we can now say, oh, wait, how do we link these together? So never feel badly about that. Okay, Andres, give me your start with ando yendo.
Estoy leyendo una novela de misterio.
Bien, sí, estoy leyendo. I'm reading right now, yeah. I'm in the process of reading. Eso es. Bien. ¿Otro ejemplo o no, Andrés?
Sí.
Ok.
Estoy comiendo una pizza.
Estoy comiendo una pizza. Bien. Ok. Bueno. Sí, hiciste bien. You did well. But see, that doesn't have as many odd elements. It doesn't have anything like out of the order of what your
Mhm.
brain, your brain still can think in that same order, and the Spanish order matches the English order. So that's why that is so much easier to do.
Yep.
Bien, okay. Otro ejemplo, another example.
Other
No.
one.
Ando yendo, bueno,
Oh,
Karen,
sorry.
sí, dinos,
Okay.
tell us.
Okay. Ella está cuidando a los niños en el parque.
Cuidando, yeah, taking care of them. Sí. Cuidando a los niños. Perfecto. Otro ejemplo, Karen, ¿o no?
Sí. Estoy tomando mi café en el patio.
Bien, sí, yeah, I'm having a little coffee on the patio. Sí. Eso, bien. Gracias. Bueno, otros ejemplos.
I'll give you one.
Bien.
It includes Mark and his wife. So
Ah,
brace for this, Mark. Estoy ayudando esta semana antes de cenar con Mark and su esposa.
bien. Okay.
So we're going to go to dinner
Sí.
next week, and I
Okay.
have to pass.
Ah, okay. Bien. Bueno. Otro ejemplo. Any other example to throw out there? No. O, por ejemplo, mi equipo favorito de béisbol está jugando Está jugando en otra ciudad. My favorite team is playing in a different city. ¿Sí?
Okay.
Bien. Ok.
Mhm.
Excelente, excelente. We're going to leave our, oh, we're going to take things a little bit out of order. We have this quedar, but that needs some explanation. So we're going to come back to that because you can't give an example for that.
Mhm.
Well, if you did, God, you're advanced. Okay. Bien. But we're going to come back to that at our tail end here. But this one we can do because it just involves using volver in presente. Yeah. Although I will tell you, this can be used in a past tense also, if you knew past tense. Sometimes you want to say, I am doing this again, they are doing this again, or you want to say, shoot, he made that mistake again, she made that mistake again. Okay, and sometimes we want to make it past. So if you want to make it past, we would have to take volver and put it in the past. So we don't have to worry about that now, but we do need this. Volver, uy, perdón, sorry about that. I need to change my aspect here to make it easier for those of you who are on a tablet. Volver is an O to UE stem change, okay? So here's one little hitch, but it's an easy one to get over. So the yo form is vuelvo, right? The tu form is vuelves, ES, because it's an ER verb, volver. The LE a usted form is vuelve, right? The ellos form, it just slaps on an N, an N, vuelven. And the nosotros form goes back to the original O of volver, right? The O. So volvemos. So here's the part that's hard. Your English brain wants to say, wait a minute, where's the word again? If this means again, where's the word again? And the answer is there is no word again. Volver means to return or come back. So if you're coming back to doing something, and that's where the infinitive comes in, if you're coming back to doing something, it means you're coming full circle and you're doing that thing again. So you don't need any verb again because the volver a says you're coming back around. And that same action is going on one more time, again. There are three ways to express the idea of again. What's the most common? There is none that is the most common. People will pick whatever kind of comes to their mind, however they feel like saying it. Yeah, we have different ways of saying again in English, but you can say in English that some things are not common. So, for example, por ejemplo, in English, I could say he's doing something again. I could say he is doing that anew, anew, anew. But who is going to say anew? All right, they start anew. You read that in a novel, don't you? You read that, but you don't say that. Yeah, so anew is a synonym, but if you used it in conversation or the back fence with the neighbor, they would think, okay. We just, it is common in written language to sound more poetic, to sound fancier, yeah, or to give it a little, I don't know, to give it a little twist, yeah. They began anew. Wow, you get the idea of a new push to do something maybe better the next time. But it's not common, just again is common. But people might say de nuevo, of new, de nuevo. They might say otra vez, another time, to say again. They might say this. Any three of those are good. The infinitive part is the part that tells what is being done again. The action that is being done again is buried in that infinitive, which does not get a change. So, vuelvo a leer las instrucciones I'm reading the instructions again. And the leer is the thing that I'm actually doing again. The vuelvo a says the again part. Literally, I'm returning to read the instructions, meaning I did it once, but now I'm on the second time or the third time around. Vuelvo a leer las instrucciones. And the leer is what you're actually doing again. Or volvemos a viajar a Payson este verano. Volvemos a viajar. We are traveling again. We're returning to travel. We're doing that action of viajar, traveling, again. Vuelvo a viajar. But notice here we're not using viajando or leyendo. We go back to the infinitive. Yeah, we go back to the infinitive. And the key is after these little things called prepositions, words like a or en or de or con, those are prepositions, those itty bitty shorty words. A verb form that comes after a preposition has to go back to the AR, ER, IR, the basic infinitive form. That's just the way Spanish works. That's kind of that's one of the very few 100% kind of rules all the time. That's the way Spanish will always be structured. Anytime a verb form follows a word like a, de, con, en, it will be in infinitive form, right? No conjugations needed. This part tells who's doing it again. Okay, bien. ¿Hay algún ejemplo? Some kind of example that you...
I have an example.
Bien,
Oh,
sí.
oops.
Okay. Mi hija vuelve a viajar a Disneylandia en octubre.
Octubre, sí. Vuelve, vuelve, with an E on the end. Vuelve. Yeah, not vuelva. Vuelva is a legitimate conjugation, but it's a subjunctive. And you
Oh, okay.
don't mean like she may go. She's
Okay.
going. Yeah, she's going back again. See?
Okay.
Vuelve. Ah, okay. Bien, bien. Otro ejemplo, Karen. Hay un segundo. Is there a second one you got?
Well, I'm not sure about this one, so
Okay.
let's see. Okay. Vamos a comiendo en el miso restaurante.
Okay.
Does that make sense? No.
Volvemos. Volvemos a. Volvemos. VOLVEMOS. Volvemos.
Okay.
Volvemos a. And now we need the ERARI. We don't need an yendo.
Endo. Okay.
We're eating again. Is volvemos a
Comer.
comer. Eso.
Sí.
And you see, some of these structures we've used have used ando yendo, and some don't. Some, yeah, okay. Bien. Volvemos a comer. We're eating again. Volvemos a comer. Volvemos a comer. Bien. Okay.
Okay.
Now, the reason this structure is a little bit tough for the English speaker is because we also learned that volver means to return, to come back to a place. Yeah. Come back home. Come back to the store. Yeah. All right. A return, return. And here it doesn't really mean return. You're returning to an activity, I guess you could say. You're return, yeah. I mean that is kind of the way they think about it. We're coming back to doing this thing, yeah. But here, because we know that volver does mean to return, when you start to hear it, you start thinking return, 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 and now you're wait a minute, there's a verb there. Not we're returning to the office, volvemos a la oficina, we're coming back there. Volvemos a comer, we are coming back to eating because we're doing
Sí.
that action of eating again. ¿Sí? Volvemos a comer. Okay, bien, bien. Bueno, otros ejemplos, other examples of volver a. Muy importante, Liza, sí.
Yeah. Vuelvo
Vuelvo.
a ver mis vecinos.
Sí, I'm seeing my neighbors again. Sí.
Okay. Or I was trying to say cousins, but
Oh, cousin, primos.
Primos, that's right.
Sí. Vuelvo a ver a mis primos.
Vuelvo
Vuelvo a ver. We need
vuelvo a ver
a mis primos.
a mis. Okay.
Primos.
Primos.
MIS? No, that's another language.
Yesterday? You want to say yesterday?
No, my in the plural form. Forgot what it was.
What? Oh,
Mis.
primos?
Um,
Cousins?
my cousins.
Mis
Say my
primos.
Mis.
MIS, right?
Mis,
Sí.
sí,
Yeah,
mis.
I don't know. I just
Mis
temporarily
primos.
forgot what it was.
Sí, mis primos. Mis primos. Bien, bien.
Yes.
Okay. Bien. I'm seeing my cousins again. Vuelvo. Vuelvo a ver. Vuelvo a ver. I'm returning to see, meaning I'm seeing them again. Vuelvo a ver a mis primos. Okay. Bien, bien. Otro ejemplo. Do you have another example you want to share or no?
No.
No. Okay. Bien. Otros ejemplos con volver a infinitivo. Infinitive. Any other examples?
Yeah. I got one.
Andrés, bien.
Voy a cenar comida italiana.
Ok, vuelvo a cenar comida italiana. I'm eating an Italian dinner again. Yeah,
Yeah,
Italian
yeah.
food again for dinner. Yeah,
Mhm.
sí, bien.
Then I got
Okay.
one more, if I may.
Sí, sí.
Not sure about this, but I'm going to throw it out. Voy variando el suelo.
Oh, okay. And
I'm
remember,
sleeping.
we're going to change this a little bit. Let's see how we're going to change it, Andres. Let's take a look at
Okay.
our pattern.
Mm.
And you were thinking of that verb barrer, sweep, right? Okay. So instead of barriendo, sweeping, it'll be what? We don't want an indo on
No.
this one.
Tenemos de ganar.
We want it
Barrier,
barrer,
barrier, barrier,
ba barrer,
B-A-R-I,
barrer, B-A-R-R-E-R, barrer is sweep, like with a broom, right?
Mhm.
Vuelvo a barrer, vuelvo a barrer. ¿Sí?
I got it.
Bien, vuelvo a barrer. So sometimes when you see these patterns, you'll notice that I've got verb and infinitive. That means it's an A-R-E-R-I-R. Nothing funny about the A-R-E-R-I-R. It's just always A-R-E-R-I-R. Here I don't have A-R. I've got the ando. And here I have the ando. Yeah. And there I had an ando. Okay. But each pattern is a little different. Yeah. And this pattern needs not an ando yendo, but an infinitive. An infinitive. Okay. Bien. And now we're going to have another pattern that needs an infinitive. Okay. This one can't have an ando or yendo. It needs an AR, an ER, an IR, right? Empezar, which means to start, or comenzar, which also means to start. They both mean to start or to begin. You can, we have a word commence, and we all know what commence means. Again, commence in English is a word you don't flip off the tongue and say, talking with the neighbor over the back fence. Yeah. I guess unless you're talking in, I don't know, Appalachian talk, he's commencing to do something. But you know what? That's, you might read it in Mark Twain, but yeah, we don't use that very much. But you can get the meaning of the verb, the meaning behind the word you can get from our English word commence. But we don't say commence very much. Commencement for people graduating, yeah. Now, I can tell you one thing though. With these two verbs, comenzar and empezar, they are both equally correct. Neither one sounds weird or unusual. You will hear empezar more. You will hear empezar more. It is just a little more common. I cannot give you a reason for that, but in spoken Spanish, this is the one you are more likely to hear. It is an IE. That means the PE right in the middle becomes a PIE for everything except nosotros. Okay? So, empiezo, empiezas, empieza, empiezan with an N at the end. But we go back to the PE for the nosotros. Empezamos, empezamos. See? So, meaning that somebody is starting to do something. Empiezo a armar la silla. I have this on my mind because I just had to assemble a new chair. Empiezo a armar la silla. I'm starting to assemble the chair. Empezamos a armar la silla. We are starting, right? The empezar tells who is starting. The conjugation for the empezar tells who is starting. And the thing you're starting to do is the AR, ER, IR, the infinitive. Notice no ando, no ando, no yendo in the structure, right? And why? Again, that little that's your clue. A verb form that follows a preposition. De, con, en has to be in the infinitive form. No ando, no yendo. Empiezo a armar. If I am starting to, write out checks. Write out checks, right? I got my stack of bills, facturas, sitting on my desk, right? Empiezo a escribir cheques para las facturas for the bills. ¿Sí? Empiezo a escribir. It will never be empiezo a escribiendo. It's got to be escribir, the A-R-E-R-I-R, just by itself, the lonely little infinitive. Empiezo a escribir, right? Empiezo a comer. I'm starting to eat. Empiezo a estudiar. I'm starting to study, etcétera. ¿Sí? Bien. Okay. Vale. Ejemplos, examples of what somebody is starting to do. Sus ejemplos, your examples.
I'll do it.
Bueno, Karen.
Okay. Empiezan a podar los árboles.
Empiezan a
Podar, cut, podar,
oh,
trim.
cortar, cortar.
Oh, it's cortar. Wrong
Sí,
verb.
cortar.
Okay.
Oh, you might have been thinking of maybe the word for trim.
Trim, sí. ¿Es podar
Okay. Tengo que
or
pensar,
no?
momentito. Uy, sí. Like pruning, right?
Sí.
That I did. Podar. Podar is what you're going to usually hear. Podar. You know poder is can, right?
Sí.
Puedo, but podar with an AR at the end is a different verb. Podar is usually what you're here for, pruning, like cutting off an end, right?
Okay.
And you could use cortar, cut, but podar is trim. So, if I'm trimming parts of, let's say, the tomato plant, yeah, I got to get those suckers off the little tomato plant, see? Empiezo a podar. Sí, la planta de tomates, ¿sí? Empiezo a podar los tomates. Bien, bien. Ok. Otro ejemplo, Karen. Another example or no?
I'll try. Empiezo a limpiar el armario.
Ok. Bien, bien. Empiezo a limpiar. I'm starting to clean. And then you just mention the items or things that you are cleaning or areas that you are cleaning. Eso es. Bien. Otro ejemplo. Another example. Andrés, sí.
Empiezo a comer una tortilla.
Bien, empieza a comer una tortilla. Muy bien, sí. Otro ejemplo.
Yeah, but you're gonna have to work with me on one particular word.
Okay, está bien.
Empiezo amar rompecabezas. Puzzle.
Rompecabezas.
Yeah, sí, sí.
Rompecabezas. Break your head. That's a word for puzzle.
Ah.
Break your
Like
head.
yeah, sí.
Okay.
Yeah, you do
Rompecabezas.
hear sometimes the word puzzles. I have heard many, many Spaniards using the word puzzles. I think that's just a borrowed word from English, puzzles. And it is, especially with young people, you hear that a lot, puzzles. But rompecabezas is a generic word for puzzle of any kind.
Okay.
Okay, bien, bien. Ok, muy bien. Otros ejemplos. Sam, dinos,
Okay,
sí.
just one.
Ok,
Only
está bien.
one. Okay. Empezar para participar en una caminata de 10 millas. A 10-mile walk.
En una caminata.
Ah,
Ok, empiezo a caminar.
Caminar. Caminata? A walk?
Now, we need a verb after the empiezo.
Okay.
Empiezo a, and we need not the caminata hike. Okay, you know what? I'm going to clarify this. And there are different ways to express the idea of a hike. Okay,
Okay.
so we're going to go back and look at this just a little bit so that you can see because it's easier for me to show you. And if you
Good.
just hear it but you don't see it, it might be a little bit tougher. So, empiezo. And think about this too. It's important with this to really get that pronunciation clear and to say all of the vowels. Empiezo, empiezo, right? Empiezo. Empiezo a. So now here's our little structure. Empiezo a. I'm starting to. That empiezo needs that little word a. There's no translation for it really. A means to, but here empezar just needs that little word a when I have a second verb after it. Now, the verb after it. If the verb after it is I'm starting to hike, yeah.
Mhm.
The word for hike as a noun, hike is caminata. Caminata. But caminata is not a verb.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And so how do we say take a hike? Right? In English, we have the verb hike, the noun, and to hike becomes a verb. But caminata is not a verb. So we have to turn it into something that's going to be a little verb phrase. And the one you're probably most likely to hear is, it won't be logical, dar una caminata. I know, dar means to give a hike. Seriously. But it's just what you're most likely to hear. Empiezo a, or it could be this one too. Es posible. It is also common to hear this. Empiezo a hacer una caminata. Take a hike won't be take, tomar, or llevar, take. Yeah. With caminata, hike, it'll either be dar una caminata or hacer una caminata. That's what you're most likely to hear, right? Hacer, do a hike. I guess make a hike, but do a hike, yeah? Hacer. Hacer is paired with a lot of physical exercise kind of things. You'll notice hacer is paired a lot. This, so, por ejemplo, for example, ejerciciar, to exercise, is a thing you hear, but that's not usually how you hear most people say it. Most people phrase it as hacer ejercicio. Do exercise. Yeah. People might like if people want to say like water skiing, hacer esquí acuático, which is a mouthful. Do aquatic skiing, yeah. But you know that's what you'll hear. Hacer una caminata, dar una caminata. Bien. Okay, so that was just sort of a function. Perdón. There it is. See, hacer una caminata or dar una caminata. And that is just a function of they have a different combination of words to express hike as a verb. Yeah.
Okay.
That's just what they have to do. Okay. And you will not hear caminar, caminata, because it's kind of too redundant. Yeah, too redundant in sounds. Okay, bien. Otro ejemplo. Is there another example with this or no? Bien, Liza, sí.
Come, come in. Okay, comenzar. Okay, you're beginning. I'm using commence.
Comienzo, sí.
Comienzan. Comer. Comienzan.
Comienzan
Comer.
a comer. We need
A
that little
comer.
again. Comienzan a comer. They're starting to eat. Sí.
How would you? I don't know how to say. We are starting to eat.
Okay. The way we say we are starting is
Comenzamos.
yeah. You're on the right. Yeah. Comenzar is an IE stem change, but if we say we are starting, the we de nosotros does not get a stem change. So the we looks back at the original, all the original sounds in comenzar. Comenzamos.
Comen.
We're
Not
starting to
comían,
eat.
but
You know, oh, they just served us. We're just starting to eat. Comenzamos a comer.
oh,
Comenzamos a comer. And if it were empezar, it would be empezamos a comer.
we could use either one. I guess.
Either one. Empezamos will be a little more common, but
Yeah.
comenzamos absolutely works. Eso. ¿Sí? ¿Bien? Okay.
Bien.
Okay. Vale. Sí. Do you have another? ¿Tienes otro? No. Okay. Bien. Bien. Adelante, adelante. We're going to take a look at this one here. And this one, I would say, is sometimes you'll hear as a command, sometimes you'll just hear as a statement, right? Dejar de. What I want to show you is that when we get these verb phrases where I have one conjugated verb and then number two, an infinitive, or maybe an ando yendo, depending on the structure, right? Sometimes you just need to know there are these little itty bitty prepositions. And they won't be the same preposition necessarily, but they're there. And what determines that you need the word de there? Just that it starts off with dejar. Dejar uses this word de. Empezar uses the little word a. Comenzar uses the little word a. Okay? But dejar does not use a. Dejar uses de. It just does, right? So to stop. And the thing they stop doing is the infinitive, right? So who is stopping is the dejar part. But the thing they're stopping doing is just the infinitive. So los chicos dejan de gritar. The kids stop yelling. Okay? Bien? And that's a statement of fact. You're just saying, oh, those kids, they're not making noise anymore. Dejan de gritar. Okay? Bien. Okay. But if you give it as a command, right? You say to your kid, hey, stop playing, or your grandkid, whoever, stop playing video games. Deja de. Deja de is a command. Stop doing something. Deja de jugar videojuegos. Deja de jugar videojuegos. Yeah? Stop eating. Deja de comer. Right? Deja de comer. Bien? Okay. Un ejemplo, an example, it could be a command, it could be just a fact.
I can do one.
Okay, bien.
Okay. Deja de andar en bicicleta.
Stop biking. ¿Sí? Deja de andar. Deja de montar. Sí, perfecto. Bien. Hay otro ejemplo. Is there another example? This, I think, is not as common as the empezar, but you know, it's the opposite of the empezar, isn't it? It's, yeah, instead of starting to do something, somebody is stopping. ¿Hay otro ejemplo o no?
Well, I'll try this, but I think it's wrong.
Well,
That's
vamos
okay.
a ver.
Okay. Las chicas dejaron de correr.
Ah, the girls stopped running, right?
Yeah.
If they're stopping right now,
Mhm.
yeah, it's dejan de correr. Dejan. If it's
Dejan.
they stopped running in the past, that dejar has to go into what they call a past tense. And I'm going to show
Okay.
you. And then it's dejaron. Then it is dejaron. So I'll show you what that is like. And you know, this is just one of those things, the nature of that verb, dejar de, to stop,
Yeah.
is such that sometimes we have it is often that we need to use it in the past, right? And you haven't done a lot of past conjugations, but
Mm,
dejan de correr means those girls, they are stopping running right now. They're taking a break. Okay, they're doing it right now. Dejan de correr. Or when they stop running, right? Let's say they stop running. They always run every morning together, but they stop at noon because it's too hard. Yeah, they stop at noon, right? I'm talking about their routine. Dejan de correr al mediodía, at midday, at noon, right? But if they stopped, stopped, right, then dejan has to go into what we call a preterite, a past tense, and then it's dejaron. That is an ellos form for they in the past. De dejaron de correr is they stopped running. Yeah, see?
mhm.
They stopped. That just puts it into the past. You don't have to know how to say that, but that's a common turn of phrase that we use. Okay, and just so that you kind of hear how that is.
Mhm.
Okay, bien. Otro ejemplo con dejar o no.
No, I don't
No,
think.
nada. Okay. Bien, bien, bien. Adelante. Oh, let's look at acabar de. Wow, we're going to come right up to the end.
Sam's got his hand up.
Oh,
No, but
perdón, perdón, Sam, sí, perdón.
I was just gonna say deja de quemare del calor. Stop
Stop.
complaining about the heat.
I'm sorry, stop.
Stop complaining about the heat.
Ah, okay.
Quéjame.
Deja de quejarse o de quejarte. Deja de quejarte. Stop
Yes,
bellyaching, right? Deja
right.
complaining. Deja de quejarte.
Quejate.
Quejarte. Sí. Deja de quejarte del calor, del
Calor.
calor. Yeah,
El
of the
calor.
heat. And I'll show you what that looks like. Vamos a ver un momentito. Uy, bien. Yeah. Well, this is something you're going to hear people saying all summer long.
Yep.
Deja de. Whoop. And that's a reflexive verb. That's why that te comes in. Complain is a reflexive verb. It just is. Deja de quejarte del calor. Stop complaining about the heat.
Can't see
some reason
anything.
the black screen.
It's black.
Yeah. Deja de quejarte. Stop complaining.
Marilyn, the screen is black.
Oh, the screen is black. Perdón. Gracias por decirme. Thank you for telling me. Una vez más. Mejor? Better?
Yeah.
Bien. Okay. Sí. Deja de, ¿sí? Deja de
Mm.
de quejarte. Stop
Right, okay.
complaining. Quejarte happens
Mm.
to be a reflexive verb.
Yeah.
It just is. Yeah. Deja de quejarte. So that te has to go on to tell it's a reflexive. Deja de quejarte del calor, about the heat, del calor. Bien. Perfecto. Muy bien. Okay, I want to take a quick look at this. I'm so sorry we're not getting to our quedar thing. I'll explain briefly what it is, but we won't have time for it. But anyway, that is probably the least of what you'll need to use. This acabar de is helpful. To have just, and that idea to have just means recent, doesn't it? It means a little while ago. And you know what? We don't know how long ago. Was it an hour ago? Was it 5 minutes
Okay.
ago? Was it just early this morning? I don't know. It's just. Yeah, just isn't very specific in English either. It means recently, right? To have just done something. And you don't need any past tense to use this because you use acabar in the present tense form. And acabar is a very regular verb. That means you take out the AR and you conjugate it just like you think you should for any AR verb. Acabo, acabas, acaba, acabamos, acaban. Yeah. And again, it needs, because of that verb acabar, it needs that little word de. Acabar, if it is used without the word de, if it's used by itself, means to finish or terminate or end something. Okay? So when I combine it with a de, it becomes to have just. And the thing you have just done has to be this infinitive part. That infinitive tells the other activity that somebody has just finished doing. So, acabo de llamar a mi doctor. I just called my doctor, right? And llamar is the thing I just finished doing, right? That's why acabar, meaning to finish or to end, I finish doing something, meaning I've just done it. Okay? I have just. And the word just, you can't translate. It is the acabar de. It tells you that something is recently over with. Okay? Acabas aquí en una pregunta, here in a question. Acabas de terminar tu proyecto. Did you just finish your project? Right? And we don't really need a past. It's just the presente of acabar. Acabas de terminar. Have you just finished? Bien? But it's a nice way of putting something in the past without having to know any past
Mhm.
kind of grammar thing. Yeah, see? Hay otros ejemplos. Any other examples you want to share with that? Sí o no?
I just want to ask, you
Sí.
said acabaste, acabaste.
Acabas de.
Did you just do that? Is what
Sí,
you're asking.
sí.
Oh,
Acabas de. Momentito. Let me put it back on. Sí. Acabas de terminar tu proyecto. Did you just finish your project? Oh, you want to know if somebody just ate? Acabas de comer? Acabas de comer? Did you just eat? You know, maybe we shouldn't go out to the restaurant because you just finished doing that. Acabas de comer? See?
Mhm.
Okay. Oh, did you just see your cousins? Acabas de ver a tus primos. Did you just see your cousins? And maybe you didn't. Oh, but you're going to next week. Voy a ver a mis primos la semana que viene, the coming week. Yeah. See? So this infinitive can be anything that somebody has just done. That tells the story of the thing somebody just finished up doing. Okay?
Good.
Bien. ¿Hay otro ejemplo? Is there another example?
No.
Didn't
No?
have that one.
Not? Okay. But it's a super helpful little structure. Bien. Okay. I will just explain something with a common phrase that you're likely to hear in a story or somebody talking about, because it's a common thing. It's something that is more complicated because it uses a past. And so I'm just going to show you, this is the least likely for you to have to use yourself, but it is often used with the idea of fall asleep. And the reason this is hard, and I didn't ask you to do an example, is that it requires that you know past tense. All the other things were present tense, and you guys haven't had a lot of training in past tense. So that's why I didn't want you to, because it doesn't make sense if I conjugate it in present. Okay? It just, well, it might, if you want to say, I always fall asleep during a long movie, and you mean that that happens all the time, then you can use it in presente. But how you're likely to hear it is quedarse, it's reflexive in the past with an ando yendo, see? So this me quedé is a yo form. And you don't maybe know how to conjugate that, but that's okay. Me quedé durmiendo. Momentito. I don't need an either. Me quedé durmiendo durante esa película. I was left there sleeping. I fell asleep. I fell asleep. And it does use an ando yendo, see? It could even be me quedé dormido, right? But I didn't want to get too much into this because it requires past tense. And me quedé is not a form of yo. That's a yo form and a reflexive yo on top of that. Yeah? It needs that little me pronoun. But it's often used for the fell asleep. Yeah, because you fell asleep during a boring speech, or you fell asleep during a movie that was crazy long, or you fell asleep after working 3 hours outdoors in the heat. Yeah, that idea. And you don't need that. That's not as frequent a need for you, but we put it in there because it was presented in the video. Yeah.
What is that verb? Don't mind
Quedar,
me asking.
quedar,
Oh, quedar.
quedar has many, many meanings.
Oh,
So
okay.
at its core, quedar means different things depending on the context, the other words it's combined with. But quedar at its core means to remain, to be left over, to kind of just be hanging out there, to be in a certain state. That's not very helpful, isn't it? Is it? Yeah.
Um,
But reflexively, it's also used, which is very helpful, to say I stayed at a place. So, por ejemplo, me quedé, I stayed, past, notice, so it's not an o ending, it's a past, different conjugation. Me quedé en mi hotel favorito. I stayed at my favorite hotel. Me quedé en dos hoteles diferentes durante las vacaciones. I stayed at two different hotels during my vacation. So, quedarse can mean to stay in a place, like lodging. But quedar has like a whole bunch of meanings depending on the context. It can also mean to be left in a certain state. Yeah. Which is what it means with that left falling asleep. Yeah. Bien.
dresses.
What I am going to send for you guys, because I'm already going a little over, there's a great, great, super, and not very long video on seguir, which is one of the verbs we talked about. And she's going to talk about that structure, but also other situations where you hear the verb seguir a lot. And seguir means to continue or to follow. So seguir has this feeling of movement, and it also means to keep on. We did this last week, la semana pasada, to keep on doing something, like sigo caminando después de las 11. I keep talking after 11. Sigo hablando, and it's an ando. Seguir can use that ando. Sigo hablando después de las 11. Yeah. But she's going to talk about a whole bunch of situations where you hear seguir a lot. To talk about to keep on doing something, to talk about to follow directions, or to follow a person. They want you to walk behind them because they're showing you the way to get somewhere. Yeah. To get around inside a building. Yeah. To take you into somebody else's office. Yeah. And it's a super helpful short video. And then I'll give you a storytelling video because we've got all that month of June. We are not meeting. Yeah. So you get 2 videos for
All right.
yeah, those. And the one is Español con Juan. He is going to talk about he had a previous video and he has a strategy. The reason for the video. I'm going to give you just a reason for the video. The reason for the video was he wanted to give people a strategy for them to practice. Say, oh, I don't have anybody to practice with. I don't have anybody to practice with, and I want to talk. Well, talk to yourself, which sounds kind of weird, but talk to yourself. So take like 10 minutes out of your day to talk to yourself about what you are doing at that time. Yeah. Oh, I am setting the table right now. And it just keeps all of the vocabulary fresh. So I know it sounds a little crazy to talk to yourself, but it's a strategy to do some speaking when you have nobody to speak with. Thus, June. Yeah. Okay. So the fun thing, he said, this whole video builds on that idea because he said, people come back at me and they say, Juan, but if I talk to myself, there's nobody to tell me when I said something wrong. Wait a minute. There's nobody who's going to tell me I'm saying something wrong. And he's going to, in a very long but kind of cute way, say, so what? Because the fact is, and here, I'm just going to give you the gist. The fact is, he says, you know what? You're talking, let's say you are talking with a real live person and you make a mistake. You know what? They're not going to stop and correct you. They're not. One of my students in one of my other classes has a buddy from Buenos Aires. And he said, oh my God, sometimes I make a mistake when I'm talking to him. And then I think, oh, he must think I'm an idiot. I said blah, 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 and that's so wrong. He must think I'm an idiot. No. They said, but he didn't say anything to me. I said, because he's your friend. So the point of the video is like, you're not going to say, you said that wrong. They don't teach grammar. You said something wrong to somebody in a restaurant. Oh, they may correct your vocabulary because you said a word wrong and they want to show you what the word is, but they're not going to correct you. He said, so what? No, you're talking with a real live person. They're not going to correct you either because they're not a grammar teacher. They're not going to. So you know what? He says, get over it. Get over it. Just the important thing is to practice. Whether it's with somebody else or by yourself, no importa. But it's sort of a cute pep talk sort of thing. Okay, bien.
Okay, bien.
Muchísimas gracias por participar. Thank you so much for participating.
I'll just,
I am taking a hiatus for June for a number of reasons, but yes, many things in the works. So I will be seeing you guys the first week of July. See?
Okay.
Todo bien?
The
Nos
6th.
vemos, nos vemos. And if you haven't signed up, do so in the next few weeks, somewhere along the line here, so that we don't get canceled out. And that's it. Eso es
Okay.
todo, ¿sí?
Okay.
Next week.
Muchísimas
Bye.
gracias. Muchísimas gracias.
Sam, can you? Oh, he's gone.